What's up, gamers? We just recently got some big news from Godforge about a stat change. Now, and the stat formerly known as Initiative is now going to be called Faith, but it's not just a name change, it also is going to function completely differently. So, in this video, we're going to break down exactly what those changes are and how it will function in the beta, which is only a month away. So, I want to make sure you're as prepared for that as possible. But especially if you're newer, I want to take this opportunity to share with not only how Godforge is a different game than other games, but how Fateless is a different company than other companies. So without further ado, let's jump in. So when I say Godforge is a different game than other games in this genre, I think about three main things. The first being the weapon and imprint system. So you can take a hero's passive and imprint that and put it on your weapon and put that weapon on any hero. And that adds to a lot of complexity or at least a lot of depth in builds that you can make with heroes. So that's really cool. Also, the depth in story that they're going to have, the emphasis in the story that they're going to have that a lot of hero collectors don't have. Now, there's going to be a lot of voiceover work. The idea is to have cinematics and different things where you can experience the story in a really cool way without it getting in the way of actually fighting and fighting. And Aaron talks about that really well, the narrative director, and how they're going to balance having a really cool story, which they're putting a lot of emphasis on, versus also just being able to play the game. So I'm really excited for that. And then the third thing I think about is the ultimate system. So being able to do your ultimate at any point in the game. And then that's where faith comes in because now initiative is no longer the term we're using, but it also functions differently. So to break down exactly what faith is a stat that enables you to gain your ultimate or your divinity, which allows you to cast your ultimate. So how it was done in the past was unique to how you would generate that divinity was unique based on the type of hero that you had. So if you were a slayer or you had a lot of attacks, it might be you gain 20 divinity when you attack somebody or when you hit somebody. If you're more an invoker or a buffer, it might be that every time you land a buff or you place a buff, you gain 40 divinity. Now, they changed that to now it's just the faith stat is what ticks your divinity meter and how you gain your ultimate. So if your faith is at 100 and it's a stat that you can build up just like attack, defense, speed, other things like that. If you have 100 faith, every time any hero on the whole map takes a turn, you gain that number. So if you have 100, you gain 100. And if your ultimate is 1,000, then each time a player goes and you keep gaining hundreds each time, then eventually you'll gain your ultimate. And then you can use it out of turn, which again is unique to this game. So that's how it's generated. And that's basically how it functions. And then you also get a slight bonus anytime you hit an enemy or you get hit. So you also get outside of just that 100 faith, you also get a little bit extra each time that you get hit or you take a hit. So there's different ways that you can earn it other than building up the stat like you would any other stat through weapons or imprints or different things like that, different ways you can boost it. But in general, that's the idea of it. And I really think that it's a really good idea. And the more I think about it, the more I appreciate the simplicity of it because it makes it a lot less complex while still having the depth and it's more manageable and you can predict it better. So you can build teams around it and have a more secure way of knowing, okay, this is when my hero is going to get the ultimate so that you can plan and strategize a lot better. So I'm really excited to try that out in the beta. And I'm really excited that Fateless took the initiative to make this change when they realized it wasn't happening. And that's what leads into why Fateless is a different company than other companies. Now, this faith change is an example of how Fateless operates differently as a company. Now, there's plenty of examples, but this is just one of them. Because when I was looking at the website, Fateless's website, every company has a mission statement or a vision of how they want the company to run or what they're going to do. But when I was looking down, I looked at their core, what I'm calling core values. It's just the five, concepts that they're saying. It's community first, original concepts, entertaining gameplay, personal experiences, and respect and compassion. And I've seen them follow these tenets in just about every action they take when it comes up to them. So this faith, I know what Simon was saying. One of the things was they always want to find the fun, make sure that it's fun and it's a great game. So entertaining gameplay is obviously one of their core values. And when people were not able to find the that it was fun or it was too complex or they didn't understand when they were going to get their ultimate, they made a change and they made a big change and then they communicated it, which is a big part of that community first area because they constantly are being super transparent with the community when they don't necessarily need to be, but also they take people's opinions and they take the feedback and they actually make change because of it. They listen to all of us and they make the best decision for the company based on what the community is has to say. And that really shows respect and compassion too, because they will through that open communication, through that transparency, they're building trust, but they're also showing respect and compassion to the community that says, we want to make the best game possible and we need your feedback. So, and when you give it, we take action on it, which I think is really, really cool and refreshing especially in the gaming world. So, definitely kudos to Fateless for that. All right, I'll get off my soapbox about why Fateless is so great and Godforge is going to be an awesome game, but I really say all that to tell you that if you want to also shape the game and be a part of the community that decides what this game is going to be in the end, don't forget to sign up for the beta that is next month on fateless.gg to ensure that you can not only get your hands on the game and get to play it, but also you can give your feedback on what feels good, what doesn't feel good, what should be added, what could be removed because again, they take all that feedback and they make changes because of it. So if you want the best game possible, I encourage you to play the beta and give feedback, and I will be right there with you. So if you want short and concise, clear videos on how to learn the game and then also some gameplay and different things like that, don't forget to subscribe because I'm going to be covering all of that during the beta and beyond. I'm Brad with BradBodGaming. Until next time, I'll talk to you later.